I have a couple of questions. When you referenced the potential boundary adjustment along the west side for that, that's the area where you've got intensive ag, something along that. And you had that highlighted on one of your slides.
Yes. Can you pull back up the comprehensive plan one?
Okay, I just leave it.
So we have been working with the agricultural community too, and it's basically the area, I believe it is, they might correct me if I'm wrong in the audience, but I believe it's the area north of Ustick. We're looking at bringing our boundary, you know, where it goes up Farmway and then it jogs out to Wagner. We're looking at bringing that back as far as we can, but still being able to encompass our urban renewal district area.
Okay, and so are you planning to reduce any of the number of acres of farm ground in your urban renewal district or no?
We are not at this time.
Okay. You mentioned Farmway and the transportation improvements along that. Having been on this board for 7.5 years, I know there are people that complain about the transportation infrastructure. I'm looking at Exhibit A5.3, and it looks like that the improvements for that, potentially maybe you can clarify, stop at Homedale Road at that intersection. I know there were a number of complaints several years ago about truck traffic rerouting down to Orchard to head out. So can you talk about what that's like for the people that will be along that corridor? That's a pretty sensitive area given that it's by the lake and there's some very nice development in there.
Yes, absolutely. Our Farmway corridor, we have been working very closely with the highway district on this corridor. We do have a master plan to improve the corridor as a whole. As Robin indicated, we typically look in the future for the next 5 years when we look at these improvements. Currently, we are starting a roundabout project at Farmway in Ustick. The highway district is taking the lead on that, but we are partnered and working closely with them. And we anticipate to see the Farmway corridor as a roundabout corridor moving forward to help with the traffic that we see in this area.
Thank you. And there's a lot of pressure on that area because of Highway 55 and some of the county approved that development where the Lakeview Fruit's going to move down. So hopefully that improves and relieves some of that congestion there. I have just a clarifying maybe for people in the, well, you've got them divided out into quarters, which I think is really nice. So in section 2 of your plan, and it's to help people understand what's actually transpired in this area. There's been a lot of development by the city of Caldwell along Smead Parkway and North Ranch, and then moving east. A lot of that ground in there that's at the intersection of 2026 and Midland and a little bit east to Madison, is that ground even owned by farmers anymore, or is it, I know a lot of that on the corner of 2026 and Midland it's been purchased by a developer. And so in that effort there, I guess I wanted to make sure that people understood that process that Caldwell has been engaged in, that ship sailed as far as the farm ground component. It was available and a developer picked it up. And then I want to jump, and I don't know if I'm going to pause so that you can comment on that if you'd like to. There's large scale development scheduled for that.
Yes, thank you for the opportunity to speak on this area. As you stated, to my knowledge, most of this area just as on the screen, that yellow area shown, most of this area has been purchased by developers. I know most of the farm ground still appears to be farm ground, likely because developers utilize leases with farmers until they're ready to develop it. But I have been coordinating with several groups on how to provide water and sewer in this area, and we are working closely in tandem to ensure that water and sewer will be extended in this direction. This will be part of ITD's project as they expand Highway 2026 from Middleton to Star. And in conjunction, the developers themselves will also be extending these water and sewer main lines to be able to service their projects.
Okay, and just for the public too, in that transportation, as we look at the increased traffic, I just want assurance that there will be some kind of traffic signals or is planned for, even if it's temporary, at that juncture along 2026 where there's crosses lining the road there. Help us with that.
Yes, thank you. We are working with ITD and with the Highway District. Those major intersections with Highway 2026 will be signalized intersections, specifically the Midland. I know that the Midland intersection has been receiving, has had a lot of conversations surrounding it. And so that lit intersection will be completed in conjunction with the developers and with ITD. There may be a temporary signal that goes up. I cannot confirm the timing of that and if it has been approved with ITD as it is their jurisdiction for that signalized intersection, but I know that the Highway District and developers have been working with ITD to try and get something temporary installed. We restricted development in that location specifically until a signal was going to be installed because we recognize the concern along the highway corridor. And then as development continues to progress, Caldwell will continue to work with ITD and we will restrict access on those large principal and minor arterials to ensure that we have safety for our public. So unless it is, unless it's one of the major crossroads with Highway 2026, most of those accesses are going to start to be restricted to right in, right out to help provide that safety to the public.
I appreciate that. Thank you. And then I wanted to clarify and comment on the Middleton corridor at about maybe not quite 2 years ago, maybe sooner than that, but your statement that Caldwell's provided municipal services up to Highway 44, and that was a joint effort, if I understood it correctly, where Middleton went south, Caldwell went north, and Matt, or is that all Caldwell's? Do you cross the river into Middleton?
And to provide, you're still looking in this area too.
Correct.
Sorry, I just want to make sure that I'm looking at the proper exhibit. Our area of impact around Middleton Road does, or our area of impact surrounding Middleton Road does not extend all the way to the river. That area around Middleton Road is within Middleton's jurisdiction.
And that was the clarification. I thought it was a joint effort on the part of Caldwell and Middleton to kind of meet in the middle there. And then when, can you clarify when the lift station is supposed to be put in at?
Yes, the Lincoln lift station, we are in design currently. Typically for us, for a lift station of this size, we will continue to finish design this year and leading into next fiscal year. And then we will start the right-of-way acquisition process. I would expect that the soonest you would see shovels in the ground for that lift station would be 2027. So we are a couple of years out, but still within that 5-year time frame. We do have, for our current users that are not utilizing that lift station, for developers that I'm speaking to currently who would typically utilize that lift station, we are looking at deviations in our master plan to allow for development to move forward while we wrap up that project.
I see, okay. And then the sportsman access that serves a myriad of purposes with access to Boise River, is Caldwell taking that or is that Middleton? Who's going to service or maintain that, or do we know?
I don't believe that we have had that discussion with Middleton as of yet, but certainly we would be more than happy to coordinate with them.
And the only reason I ask is that it is a service call-out area many times, and so to have someone managing that or even looking at what that looks like as a corridor along the Boise River, that's one of the last really natural. So to look at whoever is going to, I guess, make that what it could potentially be, I don't know, or not. Maybe it'll remain natural, I don't know. Chairman, I think that's all the questions I have for now. Thank you.
Mr. Chairman, I got a couple. Okay. In the staff report, it mentions that you guys have several parcels that are being split by the boundary that you proposed. Do you guys have any intention to come back later and include those?
Thank you for the question, Commissioners. It's my understanding from staff, and correct me if I'm wrong, is that the Commissioners could choose to include that as a requirement today, or we could approve the existing impact area as it is, and then we come back to clean that up at a later time. And we are more than happy to clean that boundary up to ensure that we don't have any divided parcels.
The statute explicitly says that there shall not be any divided parcels. They have to be included or excluded, but not cut through.
Absolutely. And we've had conversations with Middleton about those parcels, and Middleton agrees that those should have been in Caldwell's impact area boundary. So we have already created a map to show that boundary going around those parcels so they're not divided. I guess what I was trying to say is I'm not sure how that process works, you know, since it was discovered in the middle of the hearing process, if we need to come back with that or how that works.
Probably have to come back, or we can do it a contingent
Okay.
till we get the modified map.
Perfect.
Please, Commissioner Holton, could you use your mic?
Questions from the
Could you use your
audience?
mic? We
This is
can't
a
hear
public hearing, and if you keep
We can't hear
interrupting,
you. Use your mic, please. Thank you.
Mr. Chairman, so at least on the map I'm looking at, 2 of those are in the southwest as well. So you are aware of those as well?
We are aware of those, and we will adjust our map accordingly and get that back to the county as soon as possible.
okay.
Chairman, there's a lot of information in here, but maybe this is jumping on Commissioner Brooks' point, but I'm looking at the email traffic between you and the city of Milton on a potential trade. I have not gotten clarification yet on whether or not that was a deal or not a deal. Can you clarify that for me? Jason Van Gilder.
Absolutely. Commissioners, during our negotiations with Middleton, we were talking about boundary lines and a potential. They were interested in a piece of property that was close to Highway 44. So we were trying to see if we could work through a land swap on something, but we came to the conclusion that both of us did not want to do that. We did not move forward with that.
Okay.
So we kept everything as status quo as is on our impact areas as far as our boundaries between each other.
Okay. And Chairman, I do have another question. What I heard you say was that in 2016 or somewhere in their negotiations with Nampa, Caldwell gave up some acres, Nampa gave up, or there was some trade in there, but there was a reduction of 5,000 acres from Caldwell, correct?
Yes, Commissioner Namby. 2 separate items. So in 2016, we did a swap with Nampa on some of our impact area. In this year, in February, the city updated their comprehensive plan. And in doing so, our comprehensive plan, the original one, showed us planning all the way up to chicken dinner, which is why you'll see some of our utility master plans that go all the way out to chicken dinner, because it was planning in the area of that comp plan. We pulled that back. Our planning boundary stops at Wagner now. And so when we calculated that acreage, it was actually 5,000 acres that is no longer in our planning boundary at all, or our area of impact.
And Chairman, I want to ask a question just for clarification. These areas of impact, so we've already established that they exist, that there's been a reduction, but the amount that you're requesting, the total number of acres, there was a public records request, and I'm wanting to make sure that I understand how the information was put together, but the reduction that we've just talked about, Caldwell's total expansion on that is about 13,000 acres, is that right?
For the impact area?
Correct.
I believe so, yes, because the reduction that we did, those 5,000 acres, it was not our area of impact that was reduced, it was the comp plan boundary, the planning area that was reduced.
Thank you. Thank you for the clarification. And our goal, as always, Chairman, is to put information out there that's understandable so people know what they're dealing with. We want everybody to understand what we're talking about tonight.
Absolutely appreciate that.
Thank you.
Any other questions?
No, Mr. Chairman.
So just point of clarification for me, our staff has suggested with specificity the parcels. Are you representing to me that you're okay with those suggested modifications?
Commissioner Holden, yes, we are.
We just don't have a map from you that includes those parcels today, correct?
Yes, I apologize for that. We tried to get a map before we came over here and we had some technical issues on creating that map. And I did mention that to staff. We could get one over for you by no later than tomorrow.
All right, thank you.
John, any other questions?
All right, so here's what we're going to do. We're going to listen from the public. We're going to give you 3 minutes to come up and sit at the microphone and share with us what is important to you. Remember on the point boards what we're looking for and what we're not looking for. And so if you're sitting in the room and you want to come up and testify and you haven't signed up, we'll deal with you at the end of this when everyone who has signed up and who has asked to come up and speak has the opportunity to do so. All right, while we're in the middle of this, can you pull out that extra chair beside you and put it over there on the side? Just let that bag on the floor. We don't have space or time for bags on the chairs. And we have, I think, 2 more chairs there that might be available. All right. So Janet's going to call